Okay, bienvenidos a Español con Maya. Now we have our unit on food. It's so important as a beginner in Spanish or as an advanced Spanish speaker, even, to learn how to say different foods in Spanish, especially the most important meals breakfast, lunch, dinner, dessert. Okay, interacting with people through food is a great way to make friends and to learn about new cultures. So let's get started. Okay, so now that we're learning to know how to say different things in Spanish, we need to know fundamentally how to say food in Spanish. So, food in Spanish is comida, comida. And you might actually already know this word, it's very important. Next, let's focus on how to say breakfast, lunch, dinner, dessert, all those fun, delicious meals. So let's start with the most important meal of the day breakfast. In Spanish, the way we say this is desayuno. Okay. And if I want to say I eat breakfast, I use the verb comer. Yo como desayuno. Remember, comer is part of our 20 most important verbs list. Okay, the next thing that we want to learn is almuerzo. And almuerzo means lunch. This can be kind of a tricky word to say, and if these words are really long and hard to pronounce, a trick that I use is sometimes I clap out the syllables so that it's easier. Almuerzo. Okay? And then you can say it faster as you gain more practice. A fun fact is that any word in Spanish that starts with AL actually comes from Arabic. So there's a lot of crossover between the two languages, which is quite fun. If I want to say dinner in Spanish, I'm going to say cena. Cena. Okay? Postre, which is my favorite, is dessert. Postre. Postre. Another essential is learning agua. Agua. Agua means water. And if I say I need water, yo necesito agua. Okay, then we get to some fun beverages. Beer in Spanish is cerveza. Wine is vino. Okay, I love to drink vino, tomar vino. Okay, in the right hand column, we have two examples. Yo quiero vino. I want wine. Yo tomo una cerveza. I'll take a beer. I will drink a beer, okay? These all come from our fundamental 20 most important verbs list, so this should be pretty helpful. Next, on the left-hand side, we have the word for bread. And bread is popular in every culture, so you've got to learn this. Bread in Spanish is pan. Pan, okay? Yo quiero pan. I want bread. Okay, another important one that's very easy is pasta. Pasta is the same. Pasta, pasta. Okay? And then we have ensalada, which means salad. And they kind of look the same when they're written down. We have salad in the word ensalada. And then we have ice cream, helado, helado. Okay? Yo tengo helado. I have ice cream. And then our other examples on the right-hand side. Yo no quiero ensalada. If I want to say I don't want something, we've been talking about what we do want, but now I'm saying what I don't want. Yo no quiero ensalada. You just have to put the no in front of the verb. And our last example, yo no como almuerzo. I do not eat lunch. Okay? So those should be pretty helpful. I really want you to review these because if you learn how to interact with people through food when you're traveling or speaking in Spanish, it will make your life so much richer. Okay, vamos a la siguiente. Okay, in our food unit, we really want to be able to describe different foods. So a picture is worth 1,000 words, the popular saying goes. We have these two pictures here of different types of foods and meals. The first one is breakfast, and the second one is pasta. Do you remember from what we just looked at and just learned what breakfast and pasta are in Spanish? I think I kind of gave that away. I'm going to give you a second to think about it. You got it? Okay. Breakfast is desayuno. Good job. Desayuno. In this breakfast, we actually have eggs and toast. The way that we say eggs in Spanish are huevos. Okay. Some people like huevos for breakfast, some people don't. But I eat huevos for desayuno. So the way I say that in Spanish is yo como huevos para desayuno. Great job. We also have some bread next to the huevos, next to the eggs. What is bread in Spanish? We just learned this. Pan. Pan, okay? And underneath, we have the word, we have the picture of pasta, okay? Delicious pasta. What is pasta in Spanish? This one's kind of easy. It's pasta. And I kind of gave that away beforehand. But you might say, I want pasta. Yo quiero pasta. I oftentimes say, yo necesito pasta. I need pasta. Okay, let's learn some more vocab, some more food. Let's look at some food that is really important to know whether you're traveling in Spain or Latin America. So first we have the word for tomato, and it's quite similar to the English word, which is really nice. It's going to be tomate. I want you to say it out loud with me. Tomate, okay? Tomates, plural, tomatoes, tomates, and one tomato, tomate, okay? Me gusta tomates. I like tomatoes, okay? Me encanta tomates. I really love tomatoes. Okay, let's go to our next vegetable, which is going to be a potato. And there are two ways we can say this. We can say papas or patatas. Okay, so papas is more commonly used in Latin America, while patatas is commonly used in España, in Spain. So depending where you're going or what kind of Spanish you want to learn, focus on that word. Papas fritas, French fries, or patatas fritas. Okay? A very famous dish in Spain is patatas bravas. It's a type of tapa. So, really, really important word to know. Okay, then we have the word for apple. And I think apples are pretty popular all over the world, so it's a good one. It's not similar to the English word. It is going to be manzana. Manzana. Okay? Some people love manzanas, some people no, do not like manzanas. I'm, so about them, but they're good fruit to know. Okay, so let's go to the next one, which is going to be focusing on vegetables that are common and that you should know in Spanish. Okay, so now we have lechuga. An easy way to remember that lechuga is lettuce is that they both start with an L. Lechuga, lettuce. Okay? The next one is probably my favorite food ever because I eat guacamole like every single day. We have aguacate. Aguacate. And this is an avocado. Okay? If you are in Argentina, Uruguay, and some other countries, you're going to use the word palta for avocado. Again, you don't need to use both. You don't need to learn both, but learn which one makes the most sense for you. And then underneath, we have banana. And a banana is banana in Spanish, banana. And some places call it plátano. Plátano means banana. It can also mean plantain. So it really just depends where you are. Great job. Vamos a empezar una nueva conversación. We're going to start a new conversation and we're going to learn how to ask people, what do you want to eat? This is very important because in many of our conversations, we need to know, how do I say what I want to eat? How do I ask you what I want to eat? So let's look at this conversation between Laura and John. Okay, Laura, ¿qué quieres comer? John, quiero comer tacos. Laura, tacos. Vale, ¿puedes ir al supermercado y comprar la comida? John, sí, vale, pero necesito dinero. Laura, ¿no tienes dinero para comprar comida? John, en este momento no. Laura, vale, aquí está el dinero. ¿Sabes dónde está el supermercado? John, sí. Okay, so this was kind of a longer conversation than we're used to, but let's look at what it's saying in English. Okay, so Laura says, ¿qué quieres comer? And this means, what do you want to eat? We're using the verb querer and the verb comer, two of our essential verbs on our 20 most essential verbs that we need to know. What do you want to eat? It's a question. And John is saying, quiero comer tacos. So he could say yo quiero, but we don't actually need to put the pronoun there because we know it's yo because it's already conjugated for that. So it's quiero comer tacos. I want to eat tacos. Laura says tacos? Okay. Can you go to the supermarket and buy the food? So she's asking in the verb poder. We haven't yet learned how to conjugate poder for the to form of the pronoun, but she's saying, can you go? Then we have that verb ir again, to go, al supermercado, the supermarket, y comprar, la comida. So we know comida means food and comprar means to buy. So a lot of times when we need food, we need to buy it. We need to comprar la comida. Then John says, yes. Okay, but I need money. Vale, pero necesito, he's using necesitar again, dinero. This is a new word that we don't know yet. Dinero means money. And Laura asks him, you don't have money to buy food? She's using the verb tener here, but conjugated for the you form, which we haven't learned yet, but we will in a second. She says, ¿no tienes dinero para comprar? Again, we learned comprar, to buy, comida, food. John says, in this moment, no. En este momento, no. Okay, momento means moment. No. And Laura says, okay, here is the money. We know that money now means dinero in Spanish. And she says, do you know where the supermarket is? Okay, so she's asking him, ¿sabes dónde está el supermercado? You don't need to know all of this stuff, but we know that saber is one of our essential verbs and it's conjugated asking you. Again, we haven't learned this yet, but we will soon. So you're getting to see a little introduction of what we're going to learn. Then we also use the verb estar. ¿Dónde está? We're using estar because it's a location. And then John says, sí, yes. Great job with this conversation. Vamos a empezar el próximo sección. Gracias.